Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. And y'all, let's do some really fun Valentine's Day crafting. Stay tuned. So here's what we're going to be working with today. We're going to be working with those sheets that have odd prints. And if you look at this sheet by Prima, guys, it's absolutely gorgeous. But the print is spread out all over the page. And there's so much that we can do with prints like this. And today we're going to use this print on our craft. And we are going to take that sheet, cut it up into pieces, and turn it into a beautiful Valentine's Day card folio. Now this is the holder for the actual card, and when you open it, this is what the inside looks like, and then this is the card. So you can see that we actually took this sheet, cut it up, used it to turn it into a very beautiful card, as well as a little folio for that card, since it does have some depth to it. It is not a flat card, it's actually dimensional. And then when you open the card, on the inside, it's so pretty because we're using this part of the paper as the inside fold of the card. And then to round it out, we're going to use some CUTAPARTS in this craft. So this really is a low-cost way to create a very unique, very fun, very beautiful Valentine's Day card. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to get started. All right, so we're going to take this paper and turn it into this card folio, as well as the actual card, and then we'll use a couple of CUTAPARTS. So for those of you who are interested, the paper that I'm using is the Love Story collection, and it's called Love on Top. And here is the SKU in case you are looking for this paper. So the first thing that I want to do is I am going to go ahead, put this in on the 5.5 inch side, and cut. Then, because I want to save this postcard portion, I am going to cut this at 8 inches instead of 8.5. So my finished card will end up being 4 by 5.5. So on the 8-inch side, I'm cutting to remove this because I want to use that on the outside of my folio. So then I'm going to flip it over because this is the side that I want on the outside, and I'm going to score at 4. Then I'll take my card and I'm going to fold it, and we're going to set that to the side for a moment, and then we're going to save this and bring it in a few minutes and use it on the craft. So then to make the folio, we're going to need a piece that measures 9 3/8 by 6. To make the inside pocket for the folio, we're going to need a piece that measures 6 by 5 1/8. Then we're going to need some mat pieces for the cut-apart. I have a piece that measures 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then I have a piece that measures 4 1/2 by 3 1/2. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make our card. So I am going to bring in my card base, my 2 mat pieces, my 4 1/2 by 3 1/2, my 4 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then I have this cut apart. So what I want to do with the cut apart, and I think this is just so pretty, is I don't want all of that. So I'm just going to trim around and take off some of that outer border because I really don't need all of it. You don't have to do this. You can just go ahead and use it square if you want, but I am just going to trim away a little bit. So now I have this piece, and I'll take this piece and we're going to put it down on that mat. Now you're probably saying, why didn't I just take the cut apart and place it down? And the reason why I didn't, first of all, I'm going to get a little bit of dimension from placing this on top of the mat, and then I have more white space than I did on that cut apart. So I'm going to bring in my tape runner and just place down some tape. Take this piece, and we're going to place it right there. You could even go over that edge if you wanted to, but I want mine to be just like I have it Then I'm going to take this piece and we're going to place it down on the 4.5 by 3.5 inch mat. And now I'll take this piece, put it down, try to get it centered. And now we can lay this piece on top of that piece. But before we do, I went ahead and cut out some pieces of a cut apart. So I took the cut apart, cut out the word beautiful because I want to use that. Then I also cut out some little flower pieces because I also want to use these. So this is how I'm going to lay everything out, guys. I'm going to lay this down on there using some tape. And I did bring my camera in just a little bit closer for this part because it is a smaller piece. So I'm just covering the back with tape. And then when I open it up, I want to make sure that I have the bird portion of this on the correct side. So I'm going to take this, place it down, and for me, I think just having that like that is beautiful. But I am going to take some of my glue, place some of my glue on the back. If you have a sticker maker, this is ideal for running through the sticker maker. But I am just going to take this piece and I'm going to put it down, oh, like that. Then I'm going to take the word beautiful and I'm not going to place it down flat. I've actually rounded it just a little bit. So I'm going to take my glue, place my glue right there, and I'll take this and we're just going to put it down just like that. And then I have a piece of white paper for writing space and it measures 3.5 by 4 3/4. Just going to take my tape and we're going to place that down on the inside just like that. And what a beautiful card. To me, it's such a simple card, but it's just so sweet and beautiful. So I'm going to take just a little bit of my hot glue, place some hot glue on the back of that bow. Then I'm going to take that bow and put it right in the center of that flower. So now I have this really adorable little Valentine's Day card. And it doesn't need to say much because when you look at it, it's just so sweet. So now I'm going to bring my scoreboard back in. I am going to bring in the folio piece and we're going to put that in the scoreboard on the 9 3/8 inch side. And we are going to score at 4 3/8, then rotate it to the opposite 9 3/8 inch side and score at 4 3/8 again. And then we can fold and burnish these scores. And then while I have my scoreboard out, we're going to go ahead and do the scores for the little pocket that goes on the inside. So we have a piece that measures 5 1/8 by 6, and on the 5 1/8 inch side we're going to score at 1/2 inch, rotate it to the opposite 5 1/8 inch side and score at 1/2 inch again. And then we're going to turn it to the 6 inch side and we're going to score at 2 3/4, and then we'll rotate it to the opposite 6 inch side and score at 2 3/4. So now on the folio, we're going to bring in this piece that we had left over, and it is so beautiful. I don't know if you guys can see the rose gold in this, but it is so pretty. And then I have just a scrap piece that I'm going to take this piece and place it down on. So I'm going to take my tape runner, and I'm just laying down some tape. Then I'm going to take this piece and in 2 corners I am going to place it with a very slight border. I don't want a whole lot of border around this. This probably isn't even a 1/16 of an inch border that I've placed on this. So now I'm going to bring in my ruler and my handy dandy finger blade, and I'm just going to trim out. Then I'll do the same thing here. So you can see I have just a little bit of a border, enough that you know there's a border there, but not a wide border. So really all I wanted was just a little bit of separation between these two pinks. That's why I put that little bit of a border there. So I am going to take my tape runner. We are going to place some tape. And then we'll get this stuck. So I'll take this piece, try to get it centered, and then I'll stick it down. So now you can see we have a gorgeous, gorgeous front to the folio. So what I'm going to do now is the same thing that I did on the other one. I know it's a shame to cut up this beautiful paper, but I am. So I am just going to cut out this piece, and then I'm just going to go in and grab a fun little scene that I want to put on here. So right now I'm not really focused on how I'm trimming around the edges, but as I come inside here, I am just going to leave a little bit of a border around the greenery and the flowers. So if you have a print on a decorative piece of cardstock that you really like, and I'm going to go ahead and trim away some of this, then go ahead and just trim it out and use it as an embellishment. So I'm just going around, grabbing my seam, and then I do want to get all of this body form here. So now I have my seam, and so I have this much of that page left, and of course I'll be saving this and using it on another project, but this is what I wanted, and I'm going to take this piece and put it right here at the bottom, and this time I'm going to put it down with glue. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, and now I'll take this piece and I'm just going to lay it down, because I really didn't want to cover up the word that says postcard. I really wanted that showing, so you can see just how sweet that is shaping up to be. And so now I'm going to take another little bow along with one of my Anna Griffin sentiments, and I'm going to take this sentiment, place it right there, and it says, "From me to you." Then I'll take a bow, put just a little bit of hot glue on that bow, and now I can take it and we can put it right there. And how sweet is the front of this folio. So now I'm going to bring in the piece that we scored for the inside pocket, and I'm going to go ahead and fold and burnish all of those score marks. Not many. So then I'll use my finger blade, and we will just go up and release those tabs. And then I'm just going to angle in a little bit. And I'll do the same thing over here. And so this is what we're going to be left with. I am going to use my glue. And anyone who watches me for any length of time, you know that I use Reptile Glue. So I am using that, and I am just going to get those tabs stuck to one side of this project. I'll come over to this side, do the same thing. So we're just going to get it stuck. And now we can take our glue, place glue on these little side panels here. We'll take this piece, fold it back, do the same thing on this side. And now we have our sweet little holder for that sweet little card. So now I'm going to grab my folio, and we're going to take this piece and we're just going to put it in. And when I put mine in, I'm going to put it in so I'm getting it as close to the score mark as possible without going into that score mark, and then close to the bottom. So I am going to put this down using my reptile. So I'll just add a little bit. We'll take this, I'm going to put it down just like that. Bring up the side to make sure that I can close it, and I can. Then I'll use my ruler to go on the inside and get everything nice and stuck. And so now I should be able to close this, and I can. We're going to take our card, place it in the pocket, and now we have a beautiful holder for this. I am going to take this little saying that says, "A day spent with you is my favorite day." I'm going to take a piece of washi, use that washi to hold that down. And I'll put a piece here at the bottom. And the last thing that I'm going to do is I have a, well, hello Valentine little sentiment here. And I'm going to place that down. And that was really super easy peasy crafting, but we end up with this gorgeous Valentine's Day card in this beautiful, beautiful custom folio that's made just for the card. So if you're making a card that is heavy on embellishments, consider doing something like this. And if you are using papers that have the print spread out all over the page, consider doing something like this. Cut it into pieces and incorporate it into your crafting. So here's the first one that we did. Here's the second one. Aren't they fabulous? I think so. All right, guys, so I'm back and we're finished. And didn't these turn out beautifully? So we're going to set everything out so that you can get a look at how easy it is to take those odd prints on our 12 by 12s and incorporate them into our crafting, as well as the cut-aparts. Don't forget about those, because we can use them here. We can also use them on the outside of our cards. And then we can take fun elements from the page, such as the flowers and the body form that I cut out to use on this card. So many different ways that we can take those odd prints and cut-aparts and use them in our crafting. And then, of course, because we're doing this with the minimal supplies, we're able to do this for mere pennies. But we end up with something that looks like you would go to the store and buy this, but you didn't, because you made it, because you can do this. Any project that you see me demonstrating on my channel, with practice, you can do this. Repetition, practice, and a belief that you can do it. That's the key to doing it. So I hope that you guys have liked this project. If you have, please hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber to my channel, I'll give you some time. I know you'll come around. And when you do, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload a new video. So you guys, please be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.